Hey guys, I'm Zara Fagan. I am the author of Minimalist Homeschooling, and I'm here to talk today about FOMO, fear of missing out, or FOMO. And it is real in our homeschools. And most of the time, when we think about our fear of missing out, we are thinking about things like we're not doing the great history project that this other homeschooler did, or we didn't take that awesome field trip that the other homeschooler did, or we're not doing all the great Pinterest things that other homeschoolers are doing. We didn't use that awesome math challenging curriculum that somebody else recommended. We've already started and made our whole way through. And are we missing out academically for our children? And I want to flip that on its head today because this is a really big deal to me in minimalist homeschooling, because minimalist homeschooling isn't just about the homeschooling aspect of life, it's about all of life, because we get to fill our days how we want to fill our days. It's in our control, right? So when we're talking about the fear of missing out, we're literally saying, how do we want to spend our days? And so I wanted to talk more in depth about this just really quickly. And I hope that you guys will leave comments right away. Make sure you subscribe. I'm doing videos, short videos like this about homeschooling all the time, and reworking our mindset around being more minimalist, because that's sort of what I do. So there's a lot of emphasis when we're talking about fear of missing out. We tend to focus on academics because we tend to think of productive society, right? There's a lot of emphasis on being productive in society, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not suggesting that we should all raise slackers. Productive society is great. However, there's also this idea, and there's a lot of controversy and debate about how do we find balance, right? And as homeschooling mothers, we're especially constantly talking about how to find balance. And I wrote a blog post about this years ago, and I feel really strongly that we don't focus on balance as homeschooling mothers, we focus on prioritization. So when we're talking about fear of missing out, this is the missing component that a lot of people aren't thinking of, is that we're not missing out, we're prioritizing. We're prioritizing the most important things. We're prioritizing what is most needed and what is most loved, because that is how we want to spend our days. It's not forced upon us. We are creating the life that we live. And so we are choosing that this is how we spend our days, right? And so when we're thinking about fear of missing out, I hope that everyone will immediately jump to, well, what am I prioritizing? And is what I'm prioritizing reflective of who I want to be and who I want my children to be, right? So we can't put all of our emphasis on productivity, because that's not the only thing that's valuable to us as a society or as an individual, right? So we have to also end this cycle of thinking that one's value or worth, which is really prevalent in our society, that your value or your worth is associated with how much you produce, your promotion and your productivity. And if we want that cycle to end, it ends with us and it ends with our children, where a person's value does not depend on how much they get done in a day, right? Their value is inherent, and their days are theirs to prioritize in the way that suits them best, that is most valuable to who they are and who they are meant to be in this world, right? And so it can't be all about what others are viewing and seeing as far as an academic transcript, right? So, for example, we can prioritize academics. I highly recommend that. And we can prioritize specific academics over other academics. No problem there. We're all on the same page. The issue with the fear of missing out is that we're focused entirely almost on the academics. And I want to make the point that we can also prioritize relaxation, mental health, character development, life skills, joy, our faith. All of these things also make us who we are and make our days what we want them to be. And here's the issue. Here's where I want to make sure you hear me, is that the fear of missing out is that all that time you spend reviewing curricula, all that time you spend debating and negotiating or switching what you're using or organizing or sorting, all the things you have, half of which you're not using, all of that time that you're spending managing homeschool stuff, you are missing out. That is time that you could be spending actually being with your kids, listening to what they have to say, reading out loud to them, taking walks with them, laughing with them together over, a silly movie. You are missing out on those things. And we need to have a fear of missing out on that. We need to think, when we're spending all of our time agonizing over all the details and switching things and buying things and hoarding things and trying to do all the things on Pinterest, that maybe we're missing out on something else really valuable. Maybe we are missing out on the time for mental health, good books, good friends, good times. Maybe we're missing out on the time for good physical health, breaking a good sweat, having more energy, being more rested and not exhausted all the time. Maybe we're missing out on those things. And so I just wanted to do a sort of shift in perspective today and challenge everyone to when you're feeling that pull that you have a fear of missing out in your homeschool, that don't forget to be afraid of missing out on the other things you could be doing with that time that you've spent agonizing over your homeschool. So keep it simple, guys, and I'm wishing you all the simple things. I will talk to you soon. Bye now.